It's a beautiful sip in the neighborhood, a neighborly sip, understood. So won't you pour, won't you sip, won't you be my neighbor?
Hi everybody, it's me, Josh Houck, and it's time for another sip video! And today I am doing Compass Box Peat Monster. And this is a blended malt Scotch whiskey. It's not a Scotch whiskey that's blended. And a blended malt and a blended Scotch whiskey are two totally different things. So what makes a blended Scotch and a blended malt Scotch whiskey different depends on the components and the source. Where a blended Scotch whiskey is a mix of malt whiskeys, barley, grain whiskey, and the sources are blended from multiple different distilleries. For example, J&B Rare has 42 different distilleries. Now, a blended malt Scotch whiskey is different because the components are only single malt whiskeys with no grain whiskeys, and the source is blended from 2 or more different distilleries. Examples are Monkey Shoulder and the one we're having now, Compass Box Peat Monster. As you see the logo right there, you can see it says the Peat Monster blended malt, like I said. In the back right there, you have all the notes. Talks all about the details. You see it's signed by John Glasser. John Glasser is the person, I believe, who distilled this. Whiskey maker John Glasser, right there. So he's the whiskey maker. So, pretty cool. I have the notes on the computer, but I also have the notes in my noggin. So, here we go. Is this Scotch worth the hype? Is it worth buying? Let's see. And I will give you the notes as I pour some whiskey in this glass here. So I'm going to pour a little here. Pour a little and put the cap back on. All right, so here is the nose of this Compass Box Peat Monster. Let's see what I get. Very peaty. Lots of fruits. I noticed the fruits there and the oak. All right, let's see what's in the mouth. Cheers. That is good. Yeah, I definitely would buy this again, for sure. But before I even say anything, what I noticed is the peat for sure. Definitely a peat monster. But I noticed more fruits in there. I noticed there's peat in there. I think a little, I don't know, let me see, one more sip and then I'll compare it to the computer. Peat with fruity seaweed is what I get. All right, let's see the notes in the computer. And it is right there. And as you see, you have seaweed, smoke, and a hint of fruitiness on the nose. The palate is very peaty with notes of seaweed, fruits, and a hint of floral sweetness. And the finish is long and satisfying. It's 92 proof, which is 46% alcohol. All right, everybody. Well, it's time for me to say goodbye. Bye.
It's a beautiful sip in the neighborhood, a beautiful sip, understood. So won't you pour, won't you sip, won't you be my neighbor?